happens to everyone, but it can especially happen to brick and mortar businesses with smaller, more localized audiences, or if your budget is quite high, but your audience is quite small because maybe you have a really niche target market. So let's take a look at what ad fatigue is and how you can fight it to make sure that your conversion rates are not dropping off. Basically, ad fatigue is the concept of your ads which were once performing really well for you, no longer working as well as they once did due to oversaturating your audience. So once your audience has seen the same ads over and over again, their chance of converting, no matter what your objective is much lower, and the rates of them complaining and hiding your ads from their newsfeed or even leaving negative reactions and comments on your ads goes up. You'll notice this happening if your campaigns start increasing in your cost per acquisition and your frequency goes up and it starts to all sort of dip in relevance. But there are ways to overcome this or prepare for this before it even starts happening. So the first way to overcome this is refreshing your creative. You might notice that some people will tell you to turn off ads that are not performing really well for you. And I would argue that Facebook is pretty freaking smart. So it's going to always try to show your best performing ads for your objective to your audience. But once those ads then become too frequent and it's not performing as well for you because they're losing their effectiveness through ad fatigue, Facebook will then move on to using your other ad creatives within that ad set to keep things fresh. But in order for it to do that, it needs to have them turned on and available to use if things start to dip in performance with your best performing ads. So always make sure to have a couple of different variations for Facebook to choose from. Then you also want to expand your audience. So you want to keep an eye on your audience size pretty closely. If it's too small in proportion to your budget, it's going to get used up really quickly. Because remember that just because your audience size says that, there's 1,000 people in it, doesn't mean that everyone in that group is going to be targeted with these ads. Facebook is going to select the people in that audience who are most likely to give you the results that you're asking for, whether that's traffic or purchases or leads or anything else that you actually are optimizing for. And you'll never really know how big that specific targeted audience size is, so give Facebook more to play with whenever possible, especially if you're not bound by a location like a local brick and mortar business. And finally, you want to make sure you're changing up your offer. So ideally, you'd be doing all of these things all at the same time and keeping things really fresh for your audience. But if you've been running the same lead generating offer for your audience for the last 6 months, and it was once working really well and now it isn't anymore, and you really can't expand your audience because maybe you are bound by location or by a specific demographic, then the best thing for you to do is to change up your offer. Change the way that you are getting them to sign up to your email list, change the training or the workshop or the webinar or whatever it is that you're running to get people to register their interest within your business, within that commit phase, and then maybe even change your paid offers. Are there additional paid offers that you might be able to present to your audience to keep things really dynamic for them and make sure that everything is still performing really well for you? There really are so many different things that you can try to make sure that your audience, even if they're really niche and targeted, are continuously seeing really cool, new, different things from you in terms of, you're showing them videos and images and carousels, and you've got 3 different lead magnets and different offers, and they always feel like there's something dynamic coming from your advertising space.